In this tutorial, I will be teaching you how to make a reservation in RecTrack. First, log into the computer and open a RecTrack window using your username and password. When a participant approaches you to reserve a space, whether that be on the phone or in person, the first step is to ensure that they have an active DRS membership. If they do not have a membership, they are not able to make reservations. You can do this by swiping their ID card or typing in their OSU ID number into this box right here. Once you have verified that they have an active membership, go to the RecTrack main screen and click on the orange Facility Reservations button. Type in the participant's ID number or slide their card and ask them which space they would like to reserve. You will be able to check that you are in the correct household because the participant's last name will be located at the top of the screen. Once they tell you which space they would like to reserve, you will click the Availability Calendar button. This screen will allow us to select a location to reserve. Here are some important policy notes regarding reservations. Reservations can only be made for 1 hour at a time. Note that reservations can be made up to 2 days in advance, but no less than 2 hours in advance. For example, if it's Monday at 10 a.m. right now, I cannot reserve the court before noon today. I can reserve it after 12 p.m. today and up until 10 a.m. Wednesday morning, following the 2-hour, 2-day rule. This is a list of spaces that are available to be reserved. It includes racquetball courts, squash courts, tennis courts, badminton courts net 1 and 2 only, the lower court number 1 for volleyball only, the sand volleyball courts outside number 1 and 2, the MP rooms 1 and 2, and the MAC basketball courts. This is a list of areas that cannot be reserved but can be rented. This means that they're going to be paying for the space utilizing a rental agreement through Carrie Miller or Mary Stanley. This space includes the MAC turf, SLP fields, PV fields, the pool, all of the upper courts, the rock walls, the weight room, or MP3. If someone wants to rent the space, you can give them Mary or Carrie's card so they can set up a formal rental agreement. Since not all of our areas are available to be reserved, it's a good idea to ask participants right away which area they would like to reserve before you get too far into the transaction. For this example, we will say that a participant wants to reserve an indoor tennis court. Scroll through the list to find the indoor tennis courts. We have indoor tennis courts 1 through 4. Some participants have a preference on which court they play on. So let's say for this example that the participant prefers indoor tennis court number 1. Double-click or press enter once the court has been highlighted. This screen displays a calendar of daily availability. The days will be highlighted in yellow, green, or red to indicate full, partial, or no availability. Let's say the participant wants to reserve indoor tennis court number 1 for 7 p.m. tonight. This falls within the 2-hour and 2-day rule. They want the court for tonight, so I will select today's date, which is June 9th. This shows that 7 p.m. has already been reserved. You can ask the participant if they would rather have a different court or a different time. Let's say that they still want to play at 7 p.m., but they are willing to move to a different court. If they would rather play at 8 p.m., just click on this time. If they would rather have a different court, click OK. This will return you to the availability calendar. Select Facility Listing and it will take you back to the list of courts. Let's try court number 2. This court is available at 7 p.m. Click on 7 p.m. and press OK. Selecting the time and clicking on OK brings us back to the main screen we were already on. Here, under Purpose, type in the activity that the participant will be doing as well as their last name. We write the purpose because some spaces can be utilized for more than one purpose, such as an MP room. This allows us to screen for people using the space for an organized event, which isn't allowed without a rental fee. It is okay to ask the participant questions if you're unsure whether their event falls under our organized event policy. Tennis is definitely okay. Now click Fees on the right-hand side of the screen. Enter the participant's phone number and click OK. That was the last step that requires information from the participant. If they are calling on the phone, you may hang up at this point. We still aren't done with our portion of the transaction. Next, click Calc Fees. This pop-up window is asking if you are sure the fees will be 0. It is free for members to make reservations. Click Yes, and then press OK to return to the home screen again. This shows that we have selected tennis court number 2 on 6/9/17. Next, click the green payment button on the bottom left-hand corner. Next, in the green highlighted box, you will enter a pay code. Even though the total is 0, we will put a 2 for cash in our pay code. Lastly, to complete the reservation, press Process. On this window, the print button will automatically be selected. We also want to send them an email receipt. Select the email box. If they don't want a paper receipt in addition to the email receipt, you may unclick the print box. Click Finish and click No to ensure that we are not using a printer. It will return you to the home screen to show that your reservation has been completed. To go back and look at any reservations on this day, you can click the Facility Reservation Monitor. If we want to look at today, we will make sure that 6/9/2017 is entered in, or you can change the date. Select OK to see today. This is the reservation monitor for all of our facilities for this day. We will scroll down to 7 p.m. and here we will see the tennis reservation that we just made. John Doe, indoor tennis number 2, Doe tennis from 7 to 8 p.m. To exit out of the screen, click Reservation Options and then Exit. Our reservation is complete, but we are going to review a few more reservation policies. An individual may reserve one court type per day for 1 hour beginning on the hour. For example, they may reserve one badminton court and one racquetball court on the same day at different times, but they may not reserve 2 racquetball courts on the same day, or one racquetball court for 2 hours on the same day. If a participant has not checked in for a court by 15 minutes after the hour, the reservation will be forfeited. If a participant has not checked in for a court by 15 minutes after the hour, the reservation will be forfeited. The same group of participants cannot reserve the same space for more than 1 hour. However, we don't have a way to know if a back-to-back reservation is made by 2 members of the same group. The way to remedy this is, if individuals of the same group have reserved it for more than 1 consecutive hour at a time, and other participants are waiting to use the space, the reservation is invalid and the group needs to share the court. The group who reserved the space for consecutive hours will be asked to allow the group waiting to play to use the space. As we talked about earlier, there is a big difference between rentals and reservations. A quick note on rentals. A group may rent a space if they want to use it for an organized event or for an extended period of time. Rentals come at a negotiated price through Mary Stanley or Carrie Miller, 2 of our administrators. Rentals can be made by any organization. They do not have to be affiliated with Oregon State in any way. They can host practices, events, camps, meetings, etc. Rentals typically require 3 weeks to process. During intramural basketball season, the McAlexander Fieldhouse basketball courts are not available to reserve. This takes place around the 4th week of winter term. There is more information found about reservations in your Operations Student Manual.